Banking with Us is brought to you by Flight Connections. This week on Banking with Us, we take a look at FirstRock Capital Resource Limited. Stay tuned, I'm Amita Prasad Webb. The Caribbean's most shareholder-centric investment holding company, FirstRock Capital Holdings, prides itself on being different. Ryan Reed, who is the co-founder and group CEO, tells us more about how they got started.
To be very honest, FirstRock was started over a drink of rum, right? I was at an event and I was having a conversation with a very good friend of mine. And we're talking about doing something transformational. Something that in our minds, has never been done before. And, he shared some thoughts with me as I did with him. And it just so happened that what we wanted to do or wanted to bring to market was perfectly aligned. And so we started to meet every Sunday for about 2 years. My business partner's name is Michael Banbury. He's actually a medical doctor. And so we spent 2 years planning FirstRock. We actually coined the name roughly a week after having that initial conversation around it.
The company was formed to take advantage of investment opportunities in the acquisition and development of real property, with the primary aim to provide its shareholders with a tax-efficient vehicle for real estate investment, good dividend yield, and capital appreciation in diversified real estate assets. FirstRock USA LLC is a limited liability company incorporated in and under the laws of the state of Florida, USA. FirstRock Capital Latam is a corporation incorporated in and under the laws of Costa Rica, and FirstRock Capital Cayman Limited is a limited liability company incorporated in and under the laws of the Cayman Islands.
FirstRock Group is a privately held company, which has roughly about 5 shareholders, right? And within the FirstRock Group, there's FirstRock Capital Holdings, which is an investment holding company, focuses primarily on real estate investments. And that company trades on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, right? And that's domiciled in St. Lucia. There is FirstRock Global Holdings, which is a private equity firm, which is, a part of the FirstRock Group as well. That's domiciled in Barbados. And there's FirstRock Realty, which is a licensed real estate brokerage firm, which is in the business of buying and selling real estate. So that really comprises the FirstRock Group. We wanted to create an entity that was shareholder-centric and one that focused primarily on real assets. And, when we looked around the market, we saw real estate investment trusts. We saw private equity firms that were really primarily focused on financial services and so forth. We wanted to focus on real assets, assets that you can feel, touch, see. And we wanted the entity to have a square focus on making money out of real assets. And we thought that would be new and exciting. And I think, where we are today is a testament to the fact that, we may have been right. So any company that you operate has stakeholders, right? So stakeholders in the form of your customers, your employees, your shareholders. We wanted our primary stakeholder, the focus to be on our shareholders, which we started with 2, and now we have close to 3,000. shareholders in just roughly 2.5 years.
Why is this important?
Because we want to add value, right? So adding value means that those persons who would have expressed repose confidence in us, we wanted to add value to them. And so we feel as if once we zone our focus on our shareholders, amongst other focuses, but primarily our shareholders, then value can be created.
Ryan describes the FirstRock team.
Well, I like to describe the team as lean and fit. We have roughly about 15 employees, direct employees, and then roughly another 40, 45, throughout our subsidiaries. And the team is quite young. I think the median age is about 36, 37. Team, I find the team to be a very confident team, a team that's willing to, bet on themselves, a team that's willing to undertake responsibilities, even at a minute's notice. So we have a very good team, I must say.
The team includes Group Executive Vice President Pierre Shirley, Group Legal and Compliance Officer Jordan Chin, and Group Assistant Vice President of Finance and Planning Sean Myers.
We are not into the business of having, just to boast to say we have 1,000 employees, right? We're more concerned about what task our employees undertaking and are they executing the task, well, in good time and properly done. And, just more or less like a high performance driven team.
Coming up next,
we wanted to take an entrepreneurial approach towards this business. We're really in this to just make money. That's our primary aim.
FirstRock Capital Holdings' Ryan Reed breaks down the business model.
When we created the company, as I said, we have companies that focus on private equity, primarily in financial services, and companies that focus on real estate, but just really acquired property mostly for income. We wanted to take an entrepreneurial approach towards this business. We're really in this to just make money, right? That's our primary aim, to make money. And so every segment of the real estate sector, or the real estate market, we make money from. So we're not boxed into one area or one income segment. Just the same with private equity. There's financial services. We have a company, it's called Dollar Financial Services, which is really a microfinance company. But then there are other assets as well, real assets you can feel, touch, see. And we wanted to more or less shy away from tradable assets, which in many cases can be quite volatile.
FirstRock Capital Holdings' initial public offering was US $12.32 million with 106 million shares. The IPO was then upsized by an additional 53 million shares, increasing to 159 million shares, and the capital raised increasing to US $18.48 million.
The truth is that we made a commitment to our initial shareholders that we will create a market for them. And creating a market means that, give them an opportunity to be able to buy or sell if they so desire. And so we made a commitment to list within the first 12 months. On listing, we decided to raise additional capital, and we actually exceeded the capital that we sought out to raise during the IPO. So listing is good. Listing is good in many respects. One, it creates a market for your shareholders, and two, just from an operational standpoint, it allows you to be, more efficient and, abide by certain corporate governance, best practices and so forth. So all in all, it allows you to operate your company a lot better.
With many projects in the common pipeline, Dollar Financial being one.
We have quite a few. I think we have a pipeline of close to 30 transactions. Dollar Financial for us was a very good acquisition. And again, we are trying to make money. Right? And so we saw an opportunity where we can actually generate income and extract value over the medium term.
In 2020, FirstRock acquired controlling interest in Dollar Financial. The microfinance and Cambio operators have a number of locations island-wide and are set to open doors in Guyana. As with most economies around the world, the Jamaican economy has been significantly impacted by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The economy is expected to contract by over 5% this fiscal year. Furthermore, government revenues are expected to decline by the double digits, even as emergency health expenditures as well as social and economic support expenditures rise.
The pandemic has impacted, many industries, in multiple jurisdictions, and obviously we haven't been spared. We've had some impact down in Costa Rica where we have properties. With the pandemic, obviously, the lockdown has caused consumption to wane, and consumption obviously impacts our business, primarily even on the private equity side, I should say. So there has been some impact. But truth is, the pandemic has caused us to realize that we made a very good decision by going into stable assets.
Ryan also speaks to the use of diversification to mitigate risks.
So we have a little over 20 properties in 4 jurisdictions, right? So Jamaica, the United States, the Cayman Islands, and Costa Rica. And that was very deliberate. We wanted to diversify our holdings to sort of de-risk or minimize the risk of our asset holdings. And so we have certain allocation limits relating to, like sector, property type, and jurisdiction. And that diversification continues.
Group CEO of FirstRock, Ryan Reed, discusses how he manages businesses across multiple jurisdictions.
It takes a lot of management, but again, when you have a good support team, it makes management a lot easier. And the truth is, what we realize is that proper planning allows for successful execution. And so we're good planners here.
Ryan speaks to FirstRock's approach for private equity.
Preferred approach is to be majority shareholder. We may take a minority position in businesses that we are not absolutely familiar with, right? It may appear to be a very good business opportunity or a very good transaction, so we may take a minority position, but generally we take majority. We realign the board, we assess management, may put someone in, etc., and then we look to extract value over time. Once you can clearly articulate a roadmap for the original owners of the business, where, if let's say they own 10% after the transaction, you can show them where their 10% will mean a lot more than if they had 100%, given the value that you bring to the table.
Ryan shares his thoughts about the private equity space.
I see it expanding rapidly. We're seeing it all over. Something that has existed, in many jurisdictions across the world. But what I find is that persons are becoming more sophisticated. And, as persons become more sophisticated, then they'll be more open to opportunities within the private equity space.
And what's next for FirstRock Group?
Quite a lot of stuff. FirstRock Capital Holdings, we have quite a lot of stuff that we're going to be pushing forward soon. Some of them I can't say before I tell the stock exchange. And then, there's FirstRock Global Holdings, which is spearheaded by Christopher Young, which just joined the team. So he's the managing director for FirstRock Global Holdings. So we have quite a lot of transactions that we're going to execute within the wider Caribbean and even down in Guyana that I'm sure persons will be excited about.
And consider stopping by FirstRock.
If you have a business and you want, a partner, you want to extract some value, then certainly, FirstRock certainly should be an entity that you approach.
And they continue to close deals.
We've seen a rapid increase in opportunities being presented to us since the pandemic. So the pandemic has, created a lot of opportunities. They say in times of crisis, that's when opportunities present themselves. We're seeing a lot. We're very cautious. We're cautiously aggressive. But, those opportunities, we are anticipating to close on quite a few this year.
Coming up next.
Deposit insurance enables consumers to confidently place their money at their deposit-taking institution that are members of the deposit insurance scheme.
The Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation aims to protect depositors. Mrs. Williams Dunkley, who is the Director of Intervention, Resolution and International Relations, tells us more.
The Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation is a statutory organization. It was established pursuant to the Deposit Insurance Act in 1998 to manage a deposit insurance scheme for the protection of depositors' funds. It was established by the government of Jamaica as a safety net in the financial system to provide explicit guarantee up to a prescribed coverage limit to protect all depositors that hold accounts in commercial banks, building societies, trust and merchant banks, for which their membership in the scheme is compulsory. And under the Deposit Insurance Act, the JDIC guarantees protection, contributes to, and plays a key role in promoting public confidence in Jamaica's financial system stability. Deposit insurance enables consumers to confidently place their money at their deposit-taking institution that are members of the deposit insurance scheme. Deposit insurance contributes to engendering depositor confidence, it promotes financial inclusion, and it promotes financial system stability. It also, as I mentioned before, provides an explicit guarantee and assures depositors that they will have immediate access to their funds, even if their bank fails, thereby reducing their incentive to make runs on a bank, which has the potential of contagion and jeopardizes the health of the overall financial system. It's important that we understand our various stakeholders. It's important that we understand the environment that we operate in. That's the financial system, the entire macroeconomy. It's important that we understand the expectations of our depositors that we serve. So we continuously review the profile of depositors. We continuously review the product offerings, the current evolutions based on financial technology as it relates to the products and services that our member institutions offer. And as such, we continue strengthen the design of the deposit insurance scheme to meet those needs of the depositors and to promote depositor confidence and financial system stability. So a key aspect of our mandate is to undertake periodic internal reviews of the deposit insurance coverage framework to ensure that it remains credible, to ensure that we are meeting our public policy objectives, because you hear me keep repeating, protecting depositors, maintaining financial system confidence and stability. So we have to review our deposit insurance coverage framework to determine an adequate coverage limit. And JDIC is to identify the right balance between depositor protection and maintaining market discipline when we conduct these reviews. Generally, deposit insurance coverage limit adjustments are based on factors such as the type of deposit products in your financial system, the size of the deposits, the values of insured deposits to insurable deposits within the banking system, development in the regulatory, legal, and operating framework that govern our member institutions, and the wider macroeconomic environment, including inflation and exchange rate movements. So in light of past trends in inflation levels and the foreign exchange movements in the Jamaican economy, there was some significant erosion in the real value of the existing coverage limit that was last increased in 2007. Consequently, the increase from $600,000 to $1.2 million. So deposits are covered separately per institution, per ownership category, up to the coverage limit. What that means, for the purpose of deposit insurance, we refer to ownership categories as individual accounts, joint accounts, business accounts, trust accounts, and nominee accounts. So all deposits that an account holder maintains with an individual member institution in this respective ownership category in the same name, those amounts are added together and they are covered up to $1.2 million. A simple example, you maintain an individual account, savings account at one institution for $800,000, and you maintain another account at another institution for $600,000. The coverage is separate because you maintain the account at separate institutions. If you maintain the account at the first institution in your name alone, it's an individual capacity. If you maintain it joint with your mom or your dad, it's referred to a joint account. So coverage is separate per ownership category and based on the names that hold the account in each respective ownership category. So JDIC continues to deliver on its mandate and meets its public policy objective by pursuing various initiatives to strengthen its institutional capacity to ensure that it aligns with international best practice standards. We also collaborate with our other members of the financial system safety net, the Bank of Jamaica, the Ministry of Finance, the Financial Services Commission, in ensuring that we meet our mandates. We also ensure that we continue to deliver a very robust public education campaign that seeks to ensure that persons not just are aware of what deposit insurance is, but knowledgeable about how deposit insurance coverage works. The pandemic impacts every business. It impacts all aspects of our economy, not just the financial system. So it's something that we constantly monitor in terms of the risk to the system, in terms of us executing our mandate, in terms of ensuring that we operate in a constant state of readiness, just in case we need to act based on our functions under the Deposit Insurance Act. I would like to remind our audience that deposit insurance coverage is automatic and it's free for all depositors that maintain accounts in commercial banks, building societies, trust and merchant banks. The current coverage is $1.2 million, cannot overemphasize that, and it's per ownership category per institution. For additional information about how the JDIC protects your deposits, please feel free to visit our website at www.jdic.org, call us at our toll-free number 888-991-5342, or email us at jdic@jdic.org, or follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at JDIC Jam.
And that's it for Banking with Us this week. Be sure to tune in next week. I've been your host, Amita Prasad. Until next time. Banking with Us was brought to you by Flight Connections.